Wewe ndiwe Petro, wewe ndiwe Petro, na juu ya mwamba huu nitalijenga kanisa langu, wala milango ya kuzimu haitalishinda.
Tumsifu Yesu Kristo. Mpendwa mtazamaji wa Capuchin TV, na karibu tuendelee kukujulisha makala ya juu ya mwamba huu, ambapo tunajiunga na wachache kati ya wengi ambao wako katika huduma ya kanisa Katoliki katika ofisi mbalimbali. Tuendelee kujua kuhusu imani yetu na huduma ambazo kanisa linatoa. Si kawaida, na ni mara yetu ya kwanza kuwa na mkuu wa shirika la kimataifa, mojawapo ya mashirika katika kanisa takatifu Katoliki. Mashirika yako mengi ya kitawa ya waume kwa wake, na leo tumebahatika kumpata mmoja ambaye kwa kweli ni mhudumu katika ngazi ya kimataifa, shirika la wamisionari wa Consolata. Tatuelezea kuhusu yeye mwenyewe, kuhusu shirika na kuhusu mengi kuhusu mtakatifu mtarajiwa Joseph Alamano. Asante sana Padre kwa kupata muda kuongea pamoja nasi, na kwa wale ambao pengine hawakufahamu, ujitambulishe, utuelezee kidogo kuhusu pale nyumbani, kuzaliwa na maana ya majina yako.
Kwa majina ninaitwa James Bhola Lengarin, lakini pia hayo yote ni majina yangu, lakini jina la familia ilikuwa inaitwa Liaburia. Lakini nilipoenda shuleni nilikuwa na mmoja wetu pia alikuwa ni mtu wa familia, alikuwa anatumia majina yale mimi nilikuwa nataka kama kwa shule nilikuwa nataka niwe Nicholas Lengarin Liaburia. Alafu baadaye ikakuja kwamba huyo ndugu yangu alikuwa ameandikiwa barua tukiwa shuleni, na ilikuwa haijawekwa stamp. Nyakati hizo kama stamp haikuwa imewekwa, unaandikiwa kabarua uende ucollect, but then unalipa nini? Unalipa kwa sababu haijawekwa nini? Haijawekwa stamp. Sasa mimi nilikuwa shuleni na nilikuwa boarding. Sasa nikaona hii, nikaenda huko, nikaambiwa nilipe, nikalipa. Nilikuwa nashangaa ni nani ameniandikia barua bila namna hivyo. Basi ikaniuma sana. Sasa baadaye nikaanza kusema kwamba lazima nitupe majina yale nilikuwa na yanafanana na watu, nikatumia yangu. Sasa mimi nimesaliwa kule Maralal, yani headquarters ya Samburu County, lakini nilisaliwa kwa sababu mama yangu, sisi ni watu ambao tunatoka upande wa Baragoi na tunatoka Elbarta location, huko sehemu inaitwa Masikita. Hiyo ndio that's the origin, no? Lakini wakati huo mama alikuwa ameondoka, alikuwa anaenda kuwasabai ndugu zake, mama yake na baba yake, kwa sababu walikuwa wanaishi Maralal. Lakini kabla kabisa baba aliuawa na tembo. Kabla mimi sijasaliwa. Kwa sababu kule sehemu hiyo kulikuwa na tembo, sasa unaita Sererit. Huko kwa Sererit kabisa karibu na Milgis River huko. Sasa yeye alikuwa ameenda kutembelea marafiki, akasema ikawa jioni, akasema wacha niende kwa sababu niende nyumbani kwangu, mambo kama hayo. Watu wakamwambia usiende, ni usiku, lala alafu kesho utaondoka kama kawaida. Akasema no, nataka kwenda. Pale njiani vile wananihadithia ni kwamba akapata hiyo shida, akakutana na tembo wengi tu, alafu akawawa. Kwa hiyo mimi nilisaliwa tu nikiwa wa 9 katika familia. Tuna wasichana 5 na wanaume 4. Mimi ndio wa mwisho, kwa hivyo katika hali hiyo. Basi mama alipoenda huko alikuwa karibu ajifungue, lakini alienda pale akaanza kusema ninarudi kwa watoto wangu huko Masikita, huko Baragoi Masikita. Lakini basi alipokuwa anaondoka akaenda, kulikuwa na gari ya one of the merchants, businessman huko, alikuwa ni Pakistani, naitwa Bhola. Sasa huyu Bhola alikuwa na gari ambayo inasafirisha watu kutoka Maralal hadi Baragoi, ni kilomita 100. Basi yeye akapata nafasi hiyo ya kwenda kwenye gari hilo. Lakini tulipofika sehemu fulani mama alijisikia kujifungua. Kwa hivyo ilibidi warudi kwenda hospitali, na wakati huo mwaka 1971. Kwa hivyo wakati huo hata registrations ilianza kuwa kidogo inafanywa pale katika district headquarters. Kwa hivyo wakarudi pale hospitalini, akamwacha pale, mimi nimeshasaliwa, lakini basi yeye akaniita ngari ya Bhola. Ina maana gani? Ina maana kwamba kijana ambaye amesaliwa kwa gari ya Bhola, huyu jamaa huyu. Sasa kwa hiyo ndio ilikuwa ni vocation, no? Okay. That was the vocation. So I was to be given this name in order to, to be part of my history. So ikaremain namna hiyo. Kwa hivyo it is a Pakistani who come from Asia. Baadaye nikachukua jina la James kwa sababu ya ubatizo, na basi ikakuwa hivyo. Kwa hivyo hivyo ndio majina yangu yamekuja na nimekaa hivyo. Kwa hivyo mimi na jina ya ubatizo itakuwa European, alafu jina la Bhola ambaye ni Asian, na jina la Lengarin ambaye ni African. So somehow like that. Basi tukaendelea katika familia. Baadaye mimi mama tulikuwa watisa sasa. Na katika hali hiyo pia tukiwa pastoralist, if you are pastoralist nomads, we are always keeping on moving from one side to other. Now my eldest brother, at a certain point, he was enlisted in the police force. So he was working in Eldoret. Sasa mimi nikiwa mdogo kama miaka 4 hivi, nikaenda kukaa naye kwa Eldoret. Actually nikaanza pale my first chekechea huko, yani nursery school. I started there.
Sehemu gani Eldoret?
Eldoret town, mjini kabisa. Okay. Katika police station. Unajua ukienda Eldoret unaelekea barabara ya kwenda Kitale hapo, bande wa kulia kuna police station, no? Na lakini shule ilikuwa nje kidogo pale. Kwa hivyo nikafanya mwaka mmoja pale, alafu baadaye nikapelekwa transfer kama polisi. Nikapelekwa transfer niende nije bande sa nyumbani, kwa sababu najua sikuwa nikakuwa mkubwa kabla sijajua mama kamili na ndugu zangu wengine. Kwa hivyo katika hali hiyo nikarudi nyumbani, nikaanza sasa shule kule Masikita. Masikita is a very rural area hata mpaka sasa. Wakati huo ilikuwa a feeder school. So this feeder school ilikuwa ina feed either Lesirikan primary au Baragoi primary. So you can go from standard 1 to standard 3, and then when you finish you go to standard 4. Ilikuwa inaitwa upper primary. So you go there, you go to transfer that place. So I went there, and actually what happened is that since I was a boy from town, that time in Kenya there was the Chiefs Act, kwamba kila familia apeleke mtoto shuleni. So this was so that every person, even us who are nomads, should take children to school and things like that. So chiefs were going to every family to bring boys to school. So fortunately or unfortunately, most of the boys who came to school were already adults, because they were already been circumcised. They are big in terms of size and also in age. So myself, I was just a small boy with them, and I am already coming from town. So I already speak Swahili. Chap. So when I entered standard 1 like this, they say, oh no, this one should go to standard 2 because he will disturb the other, stabilize the other. So I went there for standard 2 and standard 3. Then I was transferred to Baragoi, and that's now I did I was in the first lot of 844. It happened that I was in that lot. We started 844, and then I went to Baragoi Secondary School. I was actually to go to Cabarnet High School, but then my brother told me, I don't have a lot of money for you to go to Cabarnet, so transport and things. You just go to Baragoi this year, it's okay. So I went to Baragoi Secondary School, and from there I finished. And when I was now there, that's the time now I started thinking about my life. You are already in Form 3. That's why times on Form 3. So I had a small magazine of the Consolata which was speaking about vocations. So I read, because I was in the I was in the Catholic Action. Those times there was the CA, and then there was also the youth, Christian Youth Association. But I was in the CA. And then I was also good and active in music, in choir, and I used to go to the church because I was baptized in school when I had 12 years. Because when we closed school, I would only go to my mother and take care of I go for pastures. I go and look after the goats and sheep, or after the camels. Those are the principal. Other brothers of mine were those sides of Marsabit looking after the cows, because that area where we are, it was not good for cows. No, they didn't have enough grass. So that's how the family system was that. Then after that, I was also going to stay with my brother wherever he was. He was in Anyuki, he was in Nakuru, just a policeman, you know. He was even in Nairobi here. He was in Wamba, he was in Serolivi, then back to Nairobi. So, you know, and Maralal. So, you know how the transfers of the officers is. The rest of my siblings, they then got married and people like that. And that's how we are brought up. What actually inspired me and what came up later when I was in Form 3 is the system of life. When I was young, I used to call people to come and eat with us in the evening, because, you know, in a pastoral society, we only eat twice. In the morning, when you get a substantial, or get milk, or a calabash of milk, and then you go throughout the day pasturing. And then you come in the evening, you have something to eat. So that's life. So I used to, maybe in the evening when we are still there, sitting there, I call the others, we come and eat with us, because there were some families which didn't have much as we did. So, but they were just there next to us. So I could call them. They say, somebody who have not got anything to eat, because I'm also their last born. So last borns are always kind of cunning. You call people from the other side, but then when they eat your food, you go and eat the one of the mother. So it's just these kind of small things. But anyway, that one remained in me, and always helping people to go and fetch water for elderly women, sometimes, and to go even and look after goats and sheep of the others, so that when they have some kind of problem. So this one was just some kind of life that really settled in me. So when I was in school, I decided one thing. I wanted to become a doctor in order to go and help the people who are suffering, because I felt that those who are going to hospital, they used to go very far, and people used to carry them on the donkeys, because if you see somebody's weak, then he has to be put on the donkey to go to where there is the possibility of the hospital. And it was for me, I said, wow, I want to become a doctor so that at least I can help the people. But then, as I read these documents about the church, and I read about the Consolata missionaries, which actually the whole area was Consolata missionaries. I knew even the priests, we were with them in schools, so they were used to come to speak to us, used to show us some videos. And those times there were films, which were being, those string ones, no? They could project them there. But I never knew that they were Consolata missionaries by then. I just knew that they are priests and they are white and they come from Italy. That's all. And whether they are, but then I know that they are Catholic. That's all. So, and I read about that, and he said that if you want to go more and help people who don't know Jesus Christ in different parts of the world, and you can join us, So I said, wow, this is nice. This goes beyond what I needed. My mind was local to help people here around. So I wanted to go and help, but not as a priest. The idea of the priest was not dawning in me yet. I just wanted to go and help, as I am, So, and I wrote a letter. Those times you write a letter and then you wait for the poster, then it comes back. But I was in school. So I wrote a letter, and the vocation director responded to me, asking, welcome, so you can answer this question so that we can start the dialogue, So wow, it is nice. So I show the other colleagues of mine, or the other, and then they were all, you have been called. Oh yeah, I've been called I will go to this place. So I was happy that I'm going to this place. So I kept on answering the questions. So these questions were asking also a letter from a parish priest. So now that don't mean, who is this parish priest? So who is this parish priest? So the people tell him, it's the priest who is in charge where you come from. So I say, wow, but me, here I am in school. When I go to the local place, the priest comes once in a while to our school, the former school, to say mass for the people there. But then it is far from where I stay. Then when I go to Wamba, it is still, I am in town, but I go to the church. Yes, I go to the church. And I liked going to the church even when I go home, because I just go to the church, I pray, and then after the mass I go back home. I couldn't associate myself with the people who are there in the mass, because there was one idea: people who go and associate themselves with the missionaries there, they were categorized as poor. And me, I didn't want to be categorized as poor, because I know no, me, I have what I need. So I am not going to associate myself with them because those are poor. This one was just when we had 12, 15, 16 years. So, and that's how it all started. And I said, okay, fine. The reply came that I should now. I went there to asking the fathers there, but nobody knew me. So he could not really replace me at the right place. So I said, no, despite that, me, I continue. I just saw that, those people, those priests who are here don't want to write me a letter. That's all. I just wrote that. Later on, I had all those letters because I kept them. I still have them. But then he called me to go to Gitoro Conference Center there in Meru for a meeting, the come and see. So I went there, and now there I met other boys who were also wanting to enter. Until now, there's only one who has remained with me in the institute, because others didn't come. Others came and they went, and somebody died, So and I went there, and wow, it was lovely.
How did you go from home to Meru?
To Meru. Now I was in Wamba, and I was already used to go to Meru from Wamba. We used to go to Meru, for example, to go and do some kind of shopping. Or we used to go to, Meru for us was just from there, we go to Isiolo and then we go to Meru. So I liked going around, because when I was in school, I liked I was in the Scouts, and then I was in the Wildlife Club of Kenya. And then I was also in the CA, and then I was in the Drama Club. And these clubs used to organize outings, and they used also to organize trips. That time things were good. We could come to Nairobi, we could go to Nakuru, the Menengai, the Nakuru National Park, and all these kind of things. And the Meru, we liked it because there was a museum, and there were the snakes. There are so many snakes. I go to Meru. I don't know whether now they are there. We used to go there. Then even Samburu National Park, Game Reserve, we used to go to those areas. So when we were in school, we used to move a lot. So I knew where I went. So I just took the matatu. I went to Meru, and I was welcomed. We did a week of, orientation to know about the Consolata mission. Now, there is when I knew that they are the Consolata missionaries. And this is what are requirements that you needed even not to marry. You needed to maybe to leave the country, to go and become a missionary outside. And I knew about the other societies that we have the Jesuits, we have the Gomboni, we have the Capuchins, we have all these other societies within the church. So the charisms, that's now the time that I started now focusing, and I say, wow, this is interesting. Now, but since I said that I just want to be a consultant, so we talked, and then he told me, okay, fine, you pass the exams, you'll be called. Okay.
Do you remember who it was?
It was Father Bruno. Yeah, it was Father Bruno. Right now he's already late. One of our fathers. He comes from Italy. So we didn't. Then and then we went back to school. We continued with our life, and then we now waiting. When I finished Form 4 in 1989, now I went back to Wamba, waiting for this letter to come. And I was waiting that to go to university, being the first 844. So we were waiting like that. So at a certain point, I said, okay, fine. It is long. That time it was long to wait for the results.
Yeah.
We used to call it stomaching. So we were stomaching at home and with other friends who we are finished together. So we are looking even with jobs to do, here and there. Meanwhile, that the results are coming. And that time there were jobs, because you can go and help and teach in the primary.
Yes.
You could go and work with some organizations which are there, because you are already a person, especially our part, you are already a Form 4, so seeming that you got a good grade. So, and also that time they came to kuandika police inspectors. That's the time that they started taking police inspectors. So since I have the results of the mock, yes. And it was very good, because if you have a good grade in mock, you can pass. So they called us and they told me, you have good grade, why don't you go and become a police inspector?
Oh, really?
So people were pushing me here and there, because we were few who have gone to school. I said, no, because I'm waiting for some kind of results, because I have committed myself and I need to wait until that commitment. If I don't have that commitment, maybe I will now have a second thought. But then people were, say, this one has a job and it doesn't. Jobs were been in that time, so we couldn't even.
You could get your own money.
Yeah, I was making my own money now then. But then at a certain point, I went to the parish and I told them, now look, I have asked to join this place, the Consolata, okay? But meanwhile, as I'm waiting, I would like to do something with you. Kind of, to stay, to do something in the church and things like that. So this priest, who is called Father Ronchi, it's also in Italian, he's told me he was a parish priest. So he told me, no, you want to go to this place? Why do you want to go to this place and this diocese? At that time, we belong to the diocese of Marsabit. Don't have vocations. So I told him, well, I told him you should speak with the bishop so that you can enter the diocese, because for us missionaries, we are forming people to become, first of all, to implant the church, so that there is this church, local church, and if you want to become a priest, then you have to do this. So I said, no. Then we had an argument, and I told him, no, I had already started a journey with this guy called Father Bruno. And I am just waiting for my results. And I know that I will pass the exams. So I'm just waiting for this thing, and I'm not going to speak with the bishop. This is why I want to go. Wow. So, it was tough. Right now, I recognize the same. I didn't know from where that kind of, confidence came from. So I tell them, no, I'm not going to. So he told me, so you are convinced? Oh, yeah. So I told him, I just come here do you want me to help you? Do you want me to do something in the church here or not? So he told me, you go and come tomorrow. So the day came, and I went again there, and because we were kind of staying with other boys. That time boys were staying alone, and guys were, so we stayed as boys alone there in the town. We stayed in a house of one, and then we cook together, we eat together, we go around. And then we influence each other. We go to the mass in the morning at 6:30. There's a mass in the village, in the church there. So we go together and we do after mass. And now we come back. We prepare ourselves. Those who are working, they go and work. Those who are, kind of hustling around, they hustle. And also doing some kind of society, humble works, like maybe repairing the road because it is raining and they say, it's washing out the soil. We used to have those kind of.
Were all those boys Catholic?
No, some are Catholics and some are not Catholic. Some we had even the Anglicans.
Okay.
But the Anglicans would go to their church and we could go to our church. But then when we come to the social works, we do together. Sometimes the Anglicans used to have what we call the nights where they go and do ushuhuda. So they could also invite us to go to the night there, and we stay with them to accompany. And some of us, we could also go and give ushuhuda.
You did give ushuhuda?
No, I didn't. I didn't like it. So, so now that's how it all started. So now the father told me, okay, fine, you can help us by translating from Swahili to Samburu. So we shall be going with you to the villages to go and for masses, to go and what, and that's what the work they gave me. So actually I started that. So I could translate, even helping them to translate during the time of the catechist and whatever. So I got my job.
Wow.
So and I was now in the church. Now they started knowing me. They started, oh, okay, fine. So you want to go to the seminary? Okay, right. That's lovely. So at a certain point in my letter, I heard that the seminary is starting, but I didn't get the letter because now the results came and I got I qualified to get the result to go to university. So I say, okay, fine. If I go to university, I'm not going to the university. I'm going to this place. So because they also wanted the same results that you should have a results to go to university.
Yeah.
So and the letter didn't come to me now of invitation to go to the seminary. It went back to my school. Wow. Because I had the address of the school. So what happened is that one of the deacons of it's called Marius. He was a Portuguese of a Consolata, was coming to Wamba for his diaconate experience. So and he came and I told him, I knew him during this time of the course when we were there. Oh, Mario, how are you? Oh, yeah. But he told me, are you not going to the course? I said, which course? That's one of the new ones. No, I didn't get anything. Why? No, he didn't take me. So there in that confusion, we tried to call with that phone which you want to, and then you call the operator gives you, and so they tell you, we don't know and whatever. But one of the fathers, we called the Father Angelo Riboli, was the animator there of youth in Wamba. So he told me, no, I am going to Marara tomorrow to Nairobi. So if you want, you come with me. So we go and find the issue. So I said, okay, yeah. I went and told my brother, look, I am going to Nairobi because where I wanted to go, seemingly there are issues I want to go and sort out, and they come back. Then, so I just picked the shirt and something like that, and my toothpaste. I put it there, and I went with him. Arriving there, the course was starting that evening.
Wow.
So I said, oh gosh. So the father Bruno told him, oh, no. I sent you a letter to Baragoi. So, oh gosh. So I told him, now what are we going to do? So this Father Angelo told me, we were here in this house. So Angelo told me, okay, fine. What we can do is that I go to Gigomba, I buy you some 2 or 3 slashes there, two trousers and a shirt, so that you can go to this course.
For how long was it supposed to take?
For 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah. So I decided like that. So I went to the seminary, and I started the seminary. Of the seminary I started, the first impression of the seminary was this. This is the first time now that I see people saying mass in English, because in our place it's Swahili.
Okay.
Secondly, it is the idea that I went, it was a Thursday, and I went for adoration. And in adoration, they just exposed the Blessed Sacrament, and I was there. This is a boy just coming from the village, and you don't know, you see people, because some of the students were already coming from minor seminaries, and minor seminaries that time were really seminaries. They knew they used to recite the prayers, the morning prayers, the evening prayers, the day prayers. So they knew everything. They go to for adoration and things like that. Us who are the first time that we are coming, it was strange. So I see people trying silent and for 1 hour. So at the point I couldn't know what to do. So after the adoration, I went to the director of the course, and I asked him. It was called Father Gorini. He was another one, and then I told him, Father, I didn't know what to do there. So what am I expected to do? So this father just smiled and asked me to go and see, he's telling me, okay, tomorrow you will go and see the spiritual director. And he explained to me who is a spiritual director. Somebody who will accompany me in order to know more about the spiritual things and the liturgy and things like that. Okay, fine. I was very happy. The other students were laughing at me. Wow, you don't see these things, they will chase you away. How the seminary is. So, and I went to this father, Tempini. He was called Father Tempini, elderly father. And, he started now giving me lessons of how I mean, to this kind of changes, and even about the congregations, and he introduced me, and I was very happy. I did the course, we finished, and then we were invited to go to continue. That's now 1990, when we are starting philosophy.
Okay.
Now, philosophy started when Alamano was beatified.
Padre, take you back kidogo. During all this communication to the father, vocations director, to your brother, communicating, where was your mother? Was she in the picture?
Now, at that particular point, my mother was not in the picture. My mother came in the picture after now I went to the seminary, to this course of orientation, and then I went for the break. I went after the 3 months. I went now to home for a kind of holiday, when they were now supposed to make a decision whether how many boys they were taking. So at a certain point I got the data. So I went to home, and I went now and I told my mom, listen, mom, I think my life, this is what I would like to. I would like to be a missionary. Okay, just like they told me, but the ones I see are white. What do you mean by missionary? So I explained to her, no, those white sons. Yes, I would like to be like them. But their mom was making a funny to you, but you don't forget that you are black. So I said, mom, but I can make a change, I can make a change. So my mother just told me, you know what is good for you. Me, you are already in another kind of life, which is you have gone to school, you know what is good for you. You continue. But I told her, that I am not going to marry, so you will not have, nieces or nephews. So he says, no, boy, you go and do what you think that is good for you. Me, I have done my life and I have done my things. I'm here looking after my animals and that's that. So we finished with that like that.
Okay.
So we finished with that.
And your elder brother, the Askari, did he?
Yeah, no, the Askari, I just told him. I just shared with him. He was not so much. He just said, he told me, me, I wanted you to go to university, and I was going to pay you. But that time we didn't even pay the universities. That time universities were free, and we were actually even getting a boom every month. So he told me, if you don't want to go to university, you want to go there, you do whatever you want to do. Okay. So it was simple. He didn't really constrain me to do what they want to do. So this is the part of the family. It was that. Then I didn't even, when I consulted my mother, I didn't really need to consult the others.
Okay.
It was already, for me, it was already enough.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
So you start now the process of the journey of studies, proper studies.
Yeah.
Philosophy. Where exactly?
Philosophy. So I did philosophy in Langata, Consolata Institute of Philosophy, for 3 years. Then after the 3 years, we had to go to. Now in the 3 years, the normal issues that self-understanding, self-acceptance, and self-giving.
Yes.
So the self-giving is now where you are actually making a decision to go to the novitiate. So then from there now I went to the novitiate. Now, but because during those years now, the 3 years of philosophy, we used to go for 3 months holidays. So now when I went to go 3 months, something happened, and because I told the father, usually when you go to the parishes, you are, as a seminarian, you have always to make sure that you are there, you are seen, so that actually at the end of the day, the parish priest will write a letter back to the seminary. Me, I broke that rule because I went and told the parish priest, when to come in here for you to give me a job every day, I don't like it. Then, because then I need money for my transport from home, and for my, for my to buy soap, to buy, to buy things, personal things in the seminary, because the seminary doesn't give me that. I need to. The seminary gives me food, it gives me where to sleep, but I need those things, and I don't want to go and ask my brother again money, or my mom to sell one of his goats or something like that. So in these months, which are 3, I work 2 months, and 1 month I come to the parish, where now there's a consistent work that I should do.
Wow.
So we agreed.
Okay.
So we agreed. And so during the 2 months, I used to work with the Kenya Wildlife Clubs of Kenya, and I was also going to Tanzania.
Oh, really?
To go, yeah. In 1990, I had already applied for my passport, and I started going with these cars, safaris there, to go to Ngorongoro, to go to Mikumi, to go to. I really went to the southern part of Tanzania, then there's like Tanganyika. So I did a lot of going, you know, and I went to Jinja in Uganda. And I used to have a lot of money.
Wow.
I started harvesting money.
Really?
And when I was already young, because I just entered when I had 18 years. No, I just had 18 years. It was my 19th years that I was in the first year for philosophy.
That young, that amount of money, how are you managing it? Was it too much for you at your age, or it was sufficient?
No, money for me has never been a problem. Even when I was in secondary school, I used to sell mandasis. And I used to I opened for myself. I just went to the town one time. I got a mzee there, and I told him, you come here because I needed to open. You could go and in a poster. And when you are given that booklet, then you put your money there. But if you are under 18, you had to have an adult to sign for you. So for you, you are only to deposit.
Okay.
But you can't withdraw until you are 18. So me nilikuwa nafanya hiyo pesa.
Really?
Sasa I was getting like a pocket money from my brother.
Wow.
Now when I go to school, tunaenda town, tunanunua mandazi inauzwa pale kwa shule, and I get some money. So how was I doing like this? I was doing the clubs was supposed to do that, but some clubs didn't have money. So me, I told the club, you let the thing come. Me, I pay. But then when we sell them, me, I will take back the money. Wow. And I will give you something.
Wow.
So all this money, I was putting them into my post bank. So and post bank actually, and then when I came to I had my post bank was going on. So when I went to the seminary, that's the time now I could now actually assess it. So I could get my money to go on with this one. I made passports were just like you just go there. They kijana yangu nataka kwenda wapi? Nakupatie passport. Wow, mzuri sana msome.
There was no kitu kidogo.
It was no kitu kidogo. Hakuna kitu kidogo. So and it was quite easy, swift. So so money was there. At a certain point, actually, that issue brought me an issue because the rector at that time, it was called Giuseppe Bertaina, told me, you are too much independent.
Tunaongea na huwa shirika la Consolata duniani ambaye ni Padre James Lengarin kutoka hapa Kenya, jimbo Katoliki la Maralal.
Wewe ndiwe Petro, wewe ndiwe Petro, na juu ya mwamba huu nitalijenga kanisa langu, wala milango ya kuzimu haitalishinda.
Capuchin TV, we approve the following message.
Wale watu tungetaka kushukuru sana pia ni watu wanaitwa Capuchin TV. Well, they are always welcome to Meru because it is the first church television that we have seen in this country, especially the Catholic Church, and they are uniting us with the whole nation, wherever they are. And many times they have come to cover our events in the Meru Diocese. So feel welcome and thank you for what you are doing. May God bless you so that you can get stronger and stronger every day.
Asante sana Baba Askofu. Asanteni sana wapendwa waumini wa jimbo Katoliki la Meru. Tunawapenda sana.
Tuendelee kufanya kazi. Paybill number 510678. Account name Caps TV.
Endeleeni kutazama Capuchin TV, kitambulisho chetu Katoliki.
Wewe ndiwe Petro, wewe ndiwe Petro, na juu ya mwamba huu nitalijenga kanisa langu, wala milango ya kuzimu haitaishinda.
Leo tumebahatika kumpata mmoja ambaye kwa kweli ni mhudumu katika ngazi ya kimataifa, mkuu wa shirika la Consolata ulimwenguni, Padre James Bhola Lengarin. Historia yake ndefu na ushuhuda wake na kazi ambayo shirika la Consolata limefanya.
We share everything. So anything which I earn belongs to the congregation. So it belongs to the community. So I go outside there, I work and we put together so that we make a basket for ourselves, you know. So this is the whole year of the novitiate. And we professed in 1994. In 1994, I went to England. I was destined to England for theology.
Okay.
So there, for me, since I had already my passport, I just left the others. I went.
Wow.
And the others were looking for a passport. So I just went there alone and I arrived there and we started our theology there. I went to a country which actually is has an open mind. It was not like maybe Kenya or even to be compared with other places where I went. You know, you get people from different backgrounds in England, in London. London was really a big. You had really to have faith and to be firm in your decision in order to continue, because London was actually captivating. It had so many issues to do. You can actually even leave and go and work. We were working during we go to the university. Then when you don't go to the university, you can go and work, because students in London used to work.
Okay.
So we work and we can get money, but we were taking our money to our community. You know, it's not in order for us to run our life and things like that. It was work to do. But I think that it is a place where I grew more. Now, being also in Europe, you start already, enjoying the four seasons, you know, the winter, the summer, the autumn, you know, the spring. So it was quite captivating for the young African man coming from a village to start now entering into the European world. And there I did my theology for 3 years. But during the holidays, we used to go to other countries. The first country we went is Italy, 1995. And there we started learning a bit about Italian, then going around to know the area, to know the culture, because it's where our founder was born, to go there to Castelnuovo, go to Turin, and to go also and take care and stay in the community of our elderly brothers, elderly missionaries who are there, and could teach us a lot of things. We could share with them a lot of things. It was really enriching, a moment of also to know more about the congregation, to know more about really the future even of the congregation. And then the second year I went to Portugal. And that's how I came to learn those languages when I was a student. So I went to Portugal and I went to work with for 3 months for the young people. And in the young people, you take them to the camp, we stay with them, we go around speaking about the missions. At that time, the word missions, we speak about mission to help the missions in Africa, in order for them to send some things. Even we were sending even like books, pencils, and things like that for the children who are here in Africa. Mostly in Portugal, we were linked with people from Mozambique, since they speak the same language, Portuguese. So we used, and then also going to Spain, we went, for example, to do a spiritual pilgrimage to St. James the Greater. So those are the years that we mix with the young people of, European young people from different countries. They come and we make a journey of 200 kilometers, for 10 days. You walk every day, and you have everything on your backpack,
Wow.
So those years were years of really full immersion, and also to understand the European way of life, and be compared also always with Africa. That time, Africans were not many in Europe. In England, yes, because of the colonists, the colonial country. They come from colonies. For example, in Italy, no, not much. You had the from Morocco, a bit from Senegal, but they were calling us Morocchini or something like that. But there were not many. And the same thing applies to Spain, and same thing applies to France. Had more, just like England, because of the colonies. When people see you, they start staring at you. The children will come and touch you, and whether you have just put black paint on yourself, because themselves sometimes they do that when they act,
Yeah.
So they think that you are there. Instead, they see that it is permanent. It's okay, quite well. So now this comes even my mother. What was telling me that it came through there, because when I went to a village in Portugal, then the children came, people came running to see this black person. He has come. What is so me? I just when I do, like, see they touch the hair, and it's soft. It's like a pillow. That kind of the first encounter. Wow. So it was something interesting. For me, it was not a big issue because I understood already. I entered into the culture, so it didn't scare me. But I wanted us to make them, to know that we are also human beings. We are in the other end of the world, but it's all the same. So from there now, my theology in 1997, and I came to Kenya. It was actually June 96 and 7, and then for holidays. Unfortunately, when I arrived here in Nairobi, my mother passed the same evening. She got just a heart attack, and she passed on. So, and I was actually looking forward to see her, because some years. Because we as missionaries, we stay for 3 years without coming back, and then we come back for 3 months of holidays. So when he came back, I didn't find her, and then we did all the rites and things like that. I was already around. And then I went back, but I was transferred from England to Italy to do my master's, because I had already finished theology. Now there I went to Gregorian University to do masters in missiology. And and I went there a bit wounded, because I lost my mother, and I was so much attached with her. And yet when you are outside, that time you could only write letters, which can take two months to arrive, and 2 months again to go there, because there was the phones were not existing and things like that. So it was a bit tough as a missionary, But for us, I think it's not even tougher than the old missionaries. But that's how life was.
Okay.
So I went to Rome. So I stayed there in Rome. In 1998, I became a deacon. And now
ordained in Rome.
Yeah, in Rome. And then 1999, I finished, and I was now to come back But 1998, just one. I entered into a kind of. I wanted really to have some kind of a synthesis of my life, because now I was going towards to be ordained, to be a priest and things like that. Because personally, I had always an idea of becoming a missionary and a religious. So the idea of having again to become a priest was also there. But I didn't even want to become a brother, because even us, we have brothers. But then I say, okay, fine. I studied philosophy and theology, so all together. But I so much like to be a missionary and religious, and remain like that with those two aspects. But now I say, okay, fine. I need now to concentrate, and I went for 40 days desert.
Wow.
I went for a 40 days desert.
Where was that?
Spiritual desert. It is in the mountains. It's called Certosa di Pesio, where the monks used to stay. So just to put myself into a spiritual guide, to see with the Word of God, and to see myself now preparing for ordination, because I know now I'm coming to become ordained and things like that, and I needed to have and I was just ordained a deacon, and I went there to prepare myself for this 40 days desert, where I could not talk to anybody, but just with the Word of God, and with the director who was there with us. We were a few people there, and it was so nice. it was so nice because then I really had now a system saying that. Then when I came back from that, I came now to finish, and I made the choice of where to go for mission. My idea was always to go to the mission to those people who have not heard the word of God, because that's our charism. Because other missionaries are going to countries where people are not yet got the Christian faith. So that's our agentes, no? And I wanted to go to the Amazon, so with the Yanomami in the Amazon region of Brazil. Now, then that was one of the places I wanted to go. The second place I wanted to go was Venezuela, because also there you have the indigenous people, and you have a country by that time of ours, it was also having starting issues. And then the third one was South Africa. I like South Africa because of one thing, because of the colors issues. Because during our years, that's the time now South Africa Mandela was freed. So I was always following this kind of ideas and so no, I want to we'll go there and to be part of that kind of you know, that kind of people who have suffered for many years and see those people. So I used to wear the white, the black, and the colored, because those are the three colors of South Africa. So and for me it was charming. But then I was called by the general, because we were just there in Rome studying, and the general house is just there. So the vice general superior by then was called Father Alberto Trevision, called me, and with the other two missionaries, deacons we were. So, and the idea was to convince us to change our idea of going to the mission. And we started saying that now Europe is a mission land. Now Europe is a mission. And we, Consolata missionaries, we are supposed to start retaining some missionaries from different parts in Europe.
Oh, really?
To start being missionaries. Oh, that one for me was really heartbreaking, because you have always gone to school thinking that you are going to
go
outside
your country.
But now this comes that you are supposed to remain in Europe. And we in Europe, we know that it was difficult, because people could not go to the mass or something like that. You say, what do I do here? These people are Christians, so we are for non-Christians. So wow, it was tough. I had a very tough dialogue of 2 hours.
Wow.
The others had the dialogues, and then they accepted, because one was a Brazilian and the other one was a Portuguese, and we were supposed to remain in Europe. So for me, it was tough. It was tough. I never slept that night, because I didn't expect to work in Europe as a missionary. So this is our change. So we changed the thing. So at the end of the day, you have to obey, because it's your congregation. It is what you felt that you should do. So that's the first time now where obedience meets you in the real sense, that you have to obey what the institute wants, the congregation wants, not what you want. And myself, I wanted to go there, you know, this kind of you know, passion for the mission. That's what it used to be. So then I accepted. So I came back home here, Kenya, and that's the time also we started having the first general chapter outside Italy.
Okay.
So in 1999, we had the first here in Sagana. So it was a good year also for that. So I was ordained on the 18th of July, 1999. That's why this year was 25 years.
Yeah, sure. Congrats. How was your ordination? Where exactly? And who?
Really there in Wamba by Bishop Ambrose Ravasi, because it was in the Diocese of Marsabit by then. It was the first ordination in the parish, but the people were very resilient, and they had one of their own sons there. People were bringing cows to eat and things like that. They slaughtered, and it was quite nice. It was quite nice, and people came in good numbers. And actually, that time, even my brother was alive. He himself, he died in 2007. So at that time, there was one of my nephews whom the mother was carrying, because now he's like, that time he was like 1 year. Now he's 26 years.
Wow.
So and he was there even now.
Okay,
he came driving the piggy from because he lives in Nanyuki.
All the way
driving the piggy to Wamba.
Wow. Wow.
See. So very interesting.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, so that's how it is. So now after that, I went back. So my first mission in Italy, southern of Italy, I went there to work as an animator. So animator is to involve myself of speaking about mission to different to parishes, and also forming young men and women for mission work.
Okay.
So, and I also to know about the church and to know. So that was my great job. So I stayed in a place in Lecce, the southern of Italy, for 4 years. I stayed at that place and trying to to enter inside and to animate the young men, so I could go to schools and speak about mission, speak about Africa, speak about Latin America, speak about where we have missions. So that was my big work to do. Then from there, I became also the spirit of the community that time. And that time now I had, now you are a black African, you are staying with the 3 European who are there. So people will come and say, now when they want to tell you, they want to speak to somebody, to a priest. I'm also a priest. So because for them they have not they have not had directly missionaries who are there, or even black priests. So with that, we started now entering into the society. Then after 4 years, I was transferred to another community of ours, always there to the south, called Martina Franca, always to work as an animator. And I worked with young men and young girls for those 5 years in the south. Then after that, I was asked, first of all, they asked me to come to Kenya to be a novice master. But I said, no, I'm too young. I can't go and do that job. And we kind of rattled with my general superior by then, Father Trabuco, and I refused. So anyway, then they got me because in the 2003, beginning of 2004. So they asked me again to go and become an assistant to prepare myself to be an assistant and prepare myself to be a rector of our in Rome, called Bravetta. So by that time I had just only 33 years. So and it was the first time now you change. Now you're an African who is a rector in Europe. It was it was a tough engagement, but I kind of accepted it, and now I went there. I remained there in the seminary for 5 years.
5 years again. Was there resistance from those who were supposed to guide that this is somebody coming from Africa, and probably we are not expecting such a person to be in charge of us, or it was internal struggle?
No. It was a personal struggle, because you see, when you change from abruptly from European to Africans. Then there's always that, what's happening now? What happened is that personally, then I was young. I was quite young. So my question was, I was too young to become now a director.
Okay.
Because I was just having 33 years. And normally we don't do that. And then it's also an African. But I had already big experience in Europe.
Okay.
So, I mean, the missionaries knew me so much. So from the missionaries, that was not a big issue.
Okay.
James, okay, see, you can work. There's no problem. They knew me. But it was just this kind of conception that somebody say, maybe when you get out to go there and you present yourself as a rector and you are black and you are not. These are just because we always see that as something which can come because people are not expecting. But then changes were already taking place. As I say, that even changes for me to remain in Europe to work were changes. There were 2 or 3 other confreres, or I mean 2. We were two like from Kenya. That time there's one who actually passed on, and we were just some years. It was two years difference but he passed already on. So we worked there. Then he went to South Africa to work, and myself I just remained there. So in all, I remained there. I conducted I went ahead as a rector for the 5 years. And then after now finishing there, I had to finish and say, okay, now I want to to go and work in a parish in reality, because I've never got this. I want to go to the other missions to live in Europe, because many people normally when we stay some 5-6 years, you can actually be given a chance to go and work. So actually they gave me and they told me, now since that we have a problem of a novice master in Kenya, in Africa, because we had so many novices. So they wanted to have 2 novice houses, 2 novitiates. One in Sagana where we are, and to open another one in Madari. So they asked me to go and open because I had already experience of that. So I said, okay, fine. In 2008, I came back to Kenya, and we opened the novitiate there, which actually just took 1 year. It was foreseen that 2 years we shall have that great numbers entering the congregation. But then the second year, which is 2009, they were not. They were just fitting to go to Sagana. So I kind of was released because they told me, okay, fine. Then I was released, and then I came to Langata, and I started the language center. Yeah, the Consolata language center. So they told me, okay, fine, this is this place, you can help us here and whatever. So I started and put everything in the. I started making the concept, making the plans, and going to visit here.
You're the one who initiated the language center.
Language center.
Wow.
So, and well, it's the start of art of the language center, because at that time already we had kind of the machines, which somebody can also listen, and you repeat what the machine is saying and things like that. We had a great, we imported them from Italy, and yeah, it was quite okay. Then within that year, I just gave myself 1 year, because I had the hurry. I needed really to go to work in the parish, to work with the people, because my parting shot was actually to go and help the people, stay with them. Yes, helping also forming students, but they are all already in the religious world. But I wanted to go to the lowly, to those really who wanted my help and things like that, also to put myself there. So that was my. So I told them, okay, fine, it's 1 year. We agreed 1 year, bas. So 1 year, I was not sleeping. I was trying to make sure that I finish, and now I'm able to go. So I finished, and then I was asked, okay, I went to do Lumuko. In Nyahururu, Tabor Hill, they used to do Lumuko for the small Christian community. Okay. So wow, I was happy now that I'm going to pastoral work to stay with the people. So I didn't know where they could take me. So when I finished, they brought me to Consolata Shrine. Wow. So that was another headache. I said, I didn't want this. This is too sophisticated for me. Now, what was the issue? The issue was the change of culture. We used to have Italians, confreres who are who are parish priests there. So they said now we need to change, because now the Italians are smaller. We need also now to put Africans and things like that and whatever. So that's why they say that I already know how to work with the all parts of the thing, so I can be a good man to make the transition. So well, again, here is obedience. You have always to be also available for the mission that comes, and you also think that maybe this is the will of God, that is giving you some ways to do. Not always what we think to do is right. And yeah, so I went to the parish here, Consolata Shrine. So, but I just did exactly 2 years, because what happened is that at a certain point there was a change again of now the regional. Now Africans started becoming superiors. That's we had a chapter of 2011. So before, formally, they used to be Europeans or who are doing superior. So that's time, kind of Europeans were no longer there. I mean, the Africans were elected. Because probably we were also, the numbers were now coming up. So that's the time that Hieronymus Joya, now the Bishop of Maralal, was elected to be the superior. And now, when he was elected to be a superior, I was also elected to be the counselor. Because usually we have counselors who actually will work with the superior and make the government of the region. So and I was still here in the parish. So it was not a problem to be in the parish and to be a counselor, because when there are meetings, you just come here. When there is anything, they just to consult. So I was near. So that time, and then we had the problems with the administration. We had the problems with the school, because the European, now those ones who are also there, they were no longer there. So now we had to set in, and so the issue, the general superiors and whatever, they asked me now to leave the parish and come and help now in the administration. So actually I came here to be the regional administrator. For 5 years I did that job.
Wow.
So the 2 years finished there, and I just came here and to work with it. Now the usual things. Even here in Kenya, it's not. I think it was even better when I was in Europe, when I was taking over some leadership things. But then here in Kenya, I found that a bit of rigid. The people were not ready to have that kind of change from European to Africans. And then here there were actually people against it, and they also went complaining to the cardinal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
About you?
Now
being there?
Bringing us a young man here. We don't know where he come from and whatever.
Wow.
The cardinal was telling me that, okay, fine. They tell him, no, if he's there, it means that his congregation actually knows that he can do that. So you have to receive that priest.
Wow.
That's all.
Wow.
But later, now I found it later. But now even the people are now telling me later. So we were kind of saying, this young man, he has not any experience to know things like that. And then when I came now, I slowly and I studied them, and you tell them, okay, these are your sons. What do you want?
Wow.
So we had to work together. But the change. So I have actually, my experience is always to be changed, to go to new places and to kind of provide a smooth, passage. And I've always tried to kind of do that in all throughout my religious experience. So after that, now I was here, and then again here now in 2017. So we had actually to change the whole of the way of conception of administration, where we didn't have many benefactors who can give us money. So we had now to kind of put resources together, consolidate our resources here, because we have many resources. We have houses, we have lands, and to consolidate all these things and to see how the mission can now function with actually the local people here in Kenya. And actually, that's the great job that we had to do here. And even our schools here, how they can actually be schools which can also help the mission. Because we have places like the Familia of Fariji, where children are given to us by the government, and you have to take care of them until they become adults. So, you need some kind of, resources also. And because now Europe started becoming every year, they are not sending anything, because we were totally dependent in Europe, and here locally, although there are resources, but we are not tapping those resources in the local church. And I think that's now where we actually had to enter inside and study ways and means of trying to make our people to understand about the situation of the church. That is a mature church. It's a church which has now to start, kind of taking over and, make sure that things go on. So,
but still, Padre, people out there, here in the country, especially in the country, they still believe consolatas are rich.
Yeah, there's that belief, and we suffer also because of this belief, because with Consolata, what happened with the Consolata? The Italian understanding of the mission was this one. They had a lot of help from their own background, from their families, from their friends, from their region, okay, maybe the district or the county or something like that, because they were doing a job of solidarity. So, and these monies were coming. And now our missionaries were very clever in that, because they built Once they built, no, the first thing they did is they bought farms. Like, for example, you go to Nyeri, we had 3,000 acres.
Wow.
Where we planted coffee.
Wow.
And that time, I tell you, that time, the money which our missionaries were getting, or even the coffee they were harvesting, that they were exporting that coffee and to go to Europe and fetches money and takes care
Wow.
of the vocations.
Oh, really?
In Europe. And so that they can now come here. Because when we started, they had nothing. So the machinery, they can buy now the machinery to bring it here in Kenya in order for them to continue doing the other things. So our missionaries had this kind of vision that, okay, fine, when you start, you buy, like, for example, there is land, and then you build some, they started the Odiongo, the first magazine in Kenya, and they started the seminaries, they started all this kind of thing, and they had to have money in order to make sure that these things are running. And for example, that time they also bought houses and plots here in Nairobi for the dioceses which we were working.
Okay.
For example, you can find the Diocese of Nyeri. They have some buildings which were the missionaries buy here. The Diocese of Meru, the Diocese of Embu, the Diocese of Muranga, the Diocese of Marsabit. Marsabit has a great belongings here. Then later on, Marsabit, when it was divided from Marala, they had also to divide some kind of properties that they had here. Because our missionary had the vision that these missions, what will we depend on after us? Because they knew that at a certain point, they have to break off. They have to go, I mean, they will not be there. So they wanted also that the things here, if in the first years, it is the mission of Kenya which was helping the mission back in Italy. Why is it now that actually our missions don't do that?
Tunaongea na mkuu wa shirika la Consolata duniani ambaye ni Padre James Lengarin kutoka hapa Kenya, Jimbo Katoliki la Maralal.
Wewe ndiwe Petro, wewe ndiwe Petro, na juu ya mwamba huu nitalijenga kanisa langu, wala milango ya kuzimu haitalishinda.
Daraja. Sakramenti ya daraja ndiyo sakramenti ambayo mwanamume Mkatoliki aliyeitwa na Mungu hupata mamlaka na neema ya kuendeleza ndani ya kanisa utume Kristo aliyowakabidhi mitume wake.
Kupata daraja kama Skiza Tune yako, tuma neno Skiza likifuatwa na nambari 738100270. Utume kwa 811.
Wewe ndiwe Petro, wewe ndiwe Petro, na juu ya mwamba huu nitalijenga kanisa langu, wala milango ya kuzimu haitalishinda.
Tunaongea na mkuu wa shirika la Consolata duniani ambaye ni Padre James Lengarin kutoka hapa Kenya, Jimbo Katoliki la Maralal.
The Consolata, by appearance, and then we had a store here which they used to bring even the Italian tiles. So they started even making that kind of business, so that at least to get something and use for the mission. And then the sponsorship of big people, even Kibaki himself was a Consolata. So just to say that there are many people that the Consolata started because they were sponsoring students to go, because they believed that our blessed founder, they believed that we have to nurture the Africans to a point that they can take themselves over from us. to nurture and to respect. This guy was right when you read his readings. They are just he liked it. He said that don't treat those people badly. There were some fathers since that the British were whipping some people when they did mistakes, and some of our fathers also say kind of knowing that the British, this was a law to be caned.
Okay.
Even caning in Kenya just finished the other day,
Yeah.
but because this was a British issue. So what happened is that some of our fathers wanted to do that, and Alamano was writing letters with them because they were exchanging letters.
Okay.
The General Superior always exchanged letters with every missionary, so to say about his reality and things like that. So he could warn them, saying, please do not beat those black people. You have to make them love them. Because of the mission, you have to love them, you have to accompany them, and to be good human beings.
Wow.
Give them a human formation. So this one was something important for us. And then one of the things which made us our first fathers missionaries to acquire is the issue of the British had a law that there's some kilometers from one church, let us say the Catholic Church and the Anglican Church, because they didn't want them to be nearer, so that to avoid controversies, to avoid war, to avoid impeachment. So in fact that was a law that was applied in Kenya. So where you have where the area where you have the Protestants, you look at the whole of this area of Gikuyu, the Protestants were there. No Catholic was expected to go there. And then also when you go to the other sides, like you go. So what happened is that our fathers then knew that we have to immediately to go and pitch some tents or pitch some houses to places where some centers are, so that they know that we have already gone there, so that the other churches don't come. So and that's how actually the rapid evangelization took place on the Consolata part than with the Holy Ghost, who are the first. Because the Holy Ghost were the first. The Holy Ghost were from Mombasa to here. So they were the ones who were in charge. And then they gave us from River Chania to Ethiopia. Those were none. But when they saw that the missionaries were very laborious and they work industrious and things like that, they started, but these ones are very fast. So the Consolata gave themselves that thing because they had to, for evangelization, because the issue was implantation of the church at that time. And they had to implant the church in Kenya. And that's why it is mostly the parts where the Consolatas were it was an industrious part, because the Italians are hardworking. And definitely they made the church to be a hardworking church.
So for how long were you the head here in Kenya?
So I was in the administration for 5 years.
5 years.
Then 2017, and what happened is from 2012 I became the administrator. Then 2017 we had the general chapter, and then the general chapter I was elected because we elected the representatives, and the representatives are elected according to a number of missionaries who are working. Kenya being a big country where we were, because it's one of the biggest countries where we are, we have 150 members. We had to choose 3 people to go. So I was elected to go as a delegate to the chapter. But then I didn't come because I was elected the vice general Speedy 2017. So I remained in Rome. So I worked until now 2023, where we had the other chapter every 6 years. Then 2023 I was elected now the general Speedy. Yeah, so that's actually my work. Then, now that one now comes in that as a Consolatas, we are how the organization is that we start from we have regions whereby there is a superior, and then they are also kind of autonomous, but they always have this connection with the general because we are centralized. And because we are religious and we are having community life, and we have the vows of poverty, obedience, and chastity. So we have the regions, and which have the regional superior with the 4 councillors, and then they can always continue with their life and things like that. And then from the regions, now we have the general, you know. So we start from local communities.
Yes.
That the local communities here in Kenya, we have local communities, and all these local communities, they make a region. And Kenya goes to Uganda. So right now, I think we have almost like 170 missionaries working here in Kenya.
Okay.
So these communities, then we have the regional council, which is headed by the region. They do their elections every 3 years, so they can always renew. But after two terms, one doesn't renew. So that's how it is. Then from there, we have a middle kind of thing whereby all the superiors of Africa, they make what we call the Continental Council.
Okay.
And they are being headed by one of the general councillors. So the general councillors for Africa, we have a general councillor for Africa who comes there in the name of the general superior, and he organizes that meeting of all the superiors of Africa. In Africa, we have like 7 regions. So all of them come together, and time to time they have these meetings to share how the evangelization is going on, how the life is going on, the missionary life, and how the people are going on, the information, all these kind of themes that we have, no? And after that, now we have the General Council, which is now the guarantor of all the missionaries. So we have the Superior General and 4 councillors. The first council is always the Vice General Superior. And then each one of them is given now, for example, we have the General Councillor for Africa, General Councillor for America, General Councillor for Europe, and then the one of Europe also takes the one of Asia, because Asia we have a small group of missionaries. We are just in 3 countries, that is Korea, Mongolia, and Taiwan.
Wow.
But then we have one General Councillor who is in charge of formation, the whole holistically, the basic and continuous formation. So that's one. And now we have our headquarters in Rome. So all of us are there. But we have 3 meetings in a year. That's in March, June, and November. All the other months we can be in the countries, like just like now that I'm here in Kenya.
So you're the Superior General of the Consolata?
Yeah, so me
worldwide.
myself, I'm the Superior General.
You sit at the seat of Blessed Alaman.
Alaman, yes.
What does it feel?
Well, it's a hot seat. It's a hot seat because you have we have 33 countries
33.
which we serve, and you have always to be in connection with the superiors to know how things are going on, and to know the policies of the church that are actually being adhered to, and we have all these things, and also to see the continuity of the charism, the continuity of our aim as Consolata missionaries in the world. We are in circles. And the circles are things that, for example, you had the great Roman Empire. And when we read history, how those people were very strong and how those people constructed the real Europe that we have now with all might and things like that. And then you realize that actually that Roman Empire is no longer there. It has passed.
Wow.
And you also see in the big issues that now we used to have America. Everybody was dreaming to go to America, the great American dream. Now America is also in crisis. Doesn't know anymore what to do. You can see their politics. You can see how they are, struggling even themselves. So I think that there's time that everything changes and it comes to changes. Now, Africa used to be really the land of the poor, the land of the forgotten, the land of nothing, and people were just coming maybe to take their resources and things like that. But I think now it's time for Africa, because I think now the church, if you look at even the statistics, Africa is now leading in terms of growth in the church, in all ways, in terms of vocations, in terms of even priests, in terms of even bishops. We are creating every now and then new dioceses and things like that. So this is now, and now many Africans also are actually missionaries. They're the ones now who are kind of taking over other regions. Now, for example, I can even make an example with the Consolatas. We have, for example, like 270 Consolata missionary Kenyans. They are all over the world, in the 4 continents where we work.
Wow. Congrats.
Now, and with that, even the Consolatas used to be mostly European. Now we have 549 Africans.
Wow.
As Consolata missionaries.
Wow.
So the largest out of the 920 Consolata missionaries, we have 549 who are Africans. And in our formation houses, we have only 9 Latin Americans.
9.
The rest who are going to be like our students, they are going to be like 100 and students from the novitiate, because in the novitiate we have 32, and then we have the ones who are in theology, we are 105. So that brings them to 137, all of them. So we have only 9 who are from Latin America. The rest are Africans. In Europe, we don't have no one.
Wow.
In Asia, we don't have no one.
Wow.
So that one already gives you that this is actually the trend. This is the trend. So Africa now is a time that actually they are coming in and they have grown, and there's a time now to come up and take over and become the leaders of even the church, the Catholic Church. Now there is only one issue personally, as a person, which I have seen that it's not yet fine-tuned. And this is the issue of economy and finance. Now, why do I say that it's not fine-tuned? Because we still have the baggage of dependence on money that comes from outside to run the church or to help. You know, that solidarity, that charity which used to come from outside, which actually helped most of our churches to grow, now is lacking. So it's diminishing from the other side, but it has to grow from here. You know, but the way it is growing is what I don't agree with personally. As a person, being a person who goes around the world, the globe, and seeing experiences of how people actually run their affairs, is the not growing to help the human person. It is growing towards the construction of buildings for the churches, for buildings for the elderly, big flats, and with the hope, with the hope that these flats will be a source of money to run it. But there's a great issue which we have in Africa, that people have forgotten the poor. And in any chance, the church has always to work with the poor. You know, we have on the other side, for example, in Africa, we have on the other churches are coming up. You know, what we call churches nowadays, preaching here and there, and this what do they call of prosperity churches? You know, coming up. But they are only building churches. But you can see that institutions of passion, compassion, and mercy are not there.
What do you think should be done or ought to be done?
No, it should be a regulation that actually every church, as it used to be, has to have a kitty for the poor, and have to come down to earth to accompany our brothers and sisters who actually cannot reach the end of the month because they don't have necessities. It's only that necessities they don't have. And that one, which means that we have to call ourselves a bit as missionaries, one, as religious, two, as priests and bishops, to come really and say that what is our purpose in the world. If you have to build the kingdom of God, you build that kingdom of God because we have to build the human person. To arrive to his fulfillment, or to our fulfillment as a human person who has his dignity, who can have food, he can have education, and you can have health facility. And that's what the church has been fighting throughout in centuries that we have lived. But if we go and with the current situation, whereby we have a lot of greed to amass wealth in all our meetings, you can show, even I can take the one of Kenya. Kenya here, we have all of meetings or political touting and things like that, but always because somebody has to make money. And it has changed our society. in a certain point, I arrived to a place whereby these people who are going for this meeting, the politicians or whatever call them, even sometimes even some of the church people, they go there and they carry with them even alcohol. So you find some societies here in Kenya which are actually a certain generation is completely disappearing because of drugs and alcohol. So where are we in this fight? In this way to redeem the human image to our brothers and sisters, no? So this is our work.
So do you think in that regard, the protests of Gen Zs in agitating for better running of the economy is justified? From a church perspective?
Gen Z, from the church perspective, Gen Z have reawakened something in us that we have maybe forgotten, saying that we have to see that we have out corruption, we have to root out the idea of my people, and we have to, all of us, to sing a song to be Kenyan citizens who have a need to be tackled and to be tackled by our leaders, because what happened is that Gen Z is right in a way that they're saying that, okay, fine, because the first thing which they approached, later on, this thing was diluted by other people who they wanted to use these young men and women for their own ends. But when they came in and said that, okay, fine, gentlemen, we want you to be accountable for what you are doing for the people of Kenya and for people who elected you. This is a every society. You have to do always that. So the Gen Z came and tell us, okay, fine, we have to be given our services because they are lacking. We are here, we have studied, you have taken us to school, but we have no jobs. So what are we going to do? And you are speaking about the future generation. And that's why we say that the church always changes. And the church, since its times memorial, has always been the church for the poor. And the weak. And that's why we have to accompany them and also have to reconcile between the two forces. But the first thing is that we have also to be ourselves clean. Because if we ourselves we are not clean, we are not accountable, we are not we are not transparent with what we are doing, then we cannot reach to that end. So these are the things that. But I think that the Catholic Church, and I have seen even some bishops here in Kenya, they are trying to come up and whatever. But in Africa in general, if you go to Nigeria, Nigeria is the worst end of why the church is following the prosperity gospel, because we are taking in things which other people are doing. So we cannot be against the current. But personally, I think being a religious, I am always supposed to be against the current, because if the truth is not visible, if the necessities of people is not taken care of, then that's I cannot be. I have to go against the current to recall to that, because there are people who are suffering.
Finally, Padre, thank you for your time. The man you represent, on whose chair you sit, Blessed Alamano, is soon to be canonized. What are the arrangements or what are the plans towards that, and what will happen after his canonization?
Now, as you know already, the story is already outside there, the publication. So the date which was announced by the Vatican was 20th of October. And it happens to be the World Mission Sunday. And World Mission Sunday is whereby the whole church, the Catholic Church over the world, is praying for the missions and actually telling us to be missionaries, to go and help the people who have not yet got the word of God and to accompany them, Alamano, our blessed founder, was part and parcel of the group which actually initiated and made this date to be always celebrated by the Catholic Church. And I think that the Pope got this history and actually put him to be actually among the people who are being canonized on 20th of October this year. Now, the plan for us immediately, it was announced by July 1st, is now to put to draw a program of now how we can receive people who are coming for the canonization. You know, canonization always is done in Vatican, but beatifications nowadays, since the Pope of Pope Benedict, it is done where the person is and whatever. So, for example, we had Irene Stephanie was done here in Kenya, in Nyeri. So, for canonization is only done by the Pope. That's why it is to be there. Now, what happened is that we had a commission which has now started putting all things together, and then there's a program for us. 20th is the date that there in the Vatican, this proclamation will be done. So, and that one is organized by the Vatican. Now, we had one day, 19th of October, we have a day of we anticipate a vigil, whereby we have all those pilgrims, all those people who are coming for this, and they are coming from all over the part where we are, and also people who know us and things like that, they are coming together. That night of 19th, we have a vigil, whereby we are now going to share how the miracle took place. And this miracle took place in Roraima by this man who was actually kind of attacked by the jaguar. So he's still alive, but he's not coming because he's elderly. So we shall have that moment of introduction and welcoming people and things like that, and the vigil. And then on 20th we have the canonization. On 21st we have what we do Thanksgiving Mass at St. Paul's Cathedral outside the walls of Rome. To all those people who came, we shall just have a Thanksgiving Mass and together with them and things like that. Then from there on 22nd, we leave Rome, going to Turin, where now our founder was born and where he worked and where he died. That's like 700 kilometers from Rome. So we are going there. Then we have a Mass of Thanksgiving in his own village where he was born, because we now normally have this house where it's a spiritual house where we actually receive people, where even some of his clothes are there, and the family house. Really, the way we maintain how the family house is there. So it's a kind of a museum, it's a kind of where people can go and see. So we are going to the church where he was baptized, so his own local church, which happens also to be a place of Don Bosco. It also happened to be a place of other saints, like we have also other confreres who come from there. So it's a place of saints. Domenico Savio, he come from the same village. So you are going there to have a Mass of Thanksgiving. That's on 23rd. On 24th, we have a Mass of Thanksgiving in the Consolata Shrine, where he worked for 46 years. Now, because he was a diocesan priest, and he worked there, and that's where we were born ourselves as Consolata missionaries, brothers, sisters, and priests. And we shall also have that kind of the local church there of Turin is also preparing for that moment and whatever. Then 25th, we say also Thanksgiving in our house, in our mother house, where now his tomb is there. His tomb is there. One of these days, we are also going to open the tomb in order to get the relics, because when during beatification, when it was opened, it was not possible because the body was intact. So that's 1990.
Really?
And he died in 1926.
Really?
So, and then therefore they didn't get the first, the relics are always numbered according to anything which like a bone is a first, they are called the first value. It's valued as first. And second is other parts, and then maybe the clothes, and then also the coffin is always the third part, the fourth part, which the person is there, the contact. So I think that we are also going to have the new relics to open and see whether we can have the new relics, maybe bones, something like that, so that we can also give them to different churches, so that for always the saints, we have their relics in the altars and things like that, so that we can pray for them. So for us, it's really a moment of grace, It's a moment of thanksgiving for this great gift from God and great man who founded our congregation, and then the congregation is still going on. So after this is always to strengthen our charism, to strengthen our presences, to strengthen really the way we work as missionaries, and always knowing that we have also to adapt and the situation where the current world, because also charisms evolve. It's not only what you say. Right, there is that fixed charism that he has said. I mean, yes, it has to evolve in time. And we are now the ones who are actually the real charism of the congregation, the people, the missionaries who are now there. Now these 920 missionaries who are there, because we have these 549 in Africa, we have 239 in Europe, we have 127 in America, and we have 7 from Asia. So this one adds up to the 920 missionaries that we have.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. We thank you for your time. Finally, Consolata himself sent missionaries across the world.
Yeah.
And nowadays, those physical journeys are complemented by means of communication. In this regard, what we are doing here probably go worldwide. What would you think, you as the modern Alamano, how would you make use of this means of communication to do what Alamano may not have done physically?
Now, it's an interesting question, because yes, the means of communication which we have right now here is a means that we can use every day for the transmission of the word of God, transmission of the word of God. And the missionaries, when they started, our missionaries actually are one of the missionaries who had also tried to introduce the means of, now here in Kenya we have the seed, which is still going on. Then we had also Diongo, that one, the first one in Kenya here at Nyeri, because we had the printing press. So it was always that we should have to do it. And even in Turin, our founder was actually the first one to introduce also Mission Consolata, which was supposed to be transmitting the news about the Consolata shrine in Turin. And we have always this thing as part and parcel of us. And all regions, our regions, all of them have always a magazine, the old analog way. But right now they are all having on a digital platform. They are all having this digital platform, because as the Pope also says that we are facing also the news that it is the 6th continent, and all of us are supposed to be in that 6th continent in order to be part and parcel of what is going on in the world with the youth, the people who are in that thing. So for us is to strengthen this means and to use it really to evangelize within the 6th continent that we have. It is also a field which is not quite easy, because what happened is that formerly news were controlled. We had the editors of every news company that was controlling anything which is getting out, so that at least it goes in a way that is accepted and packaged. Nowadays, everybody is an editor, and he puts things down. So we as a Catholic, because there are values which we have to defend, of a human dignity, of a human responsibility, that we have really to defend justice, so that even for somebody to protect even the young, the young people who are still growing from other things which are they are not acceptable. This is what we are supposed to do. So it is a field that we need really to enter inside and come up with strong ways of being present. Probably we are still half from the natives, the natives of the digital world, and those who are like us, who were born before. So it was just born as we see as coming up, and I think now we are half almost. But when our generation will be completely out, the new generation, you can see even we have problems with the community life, because sometimes people going ahead. They are communicating whatever they are in any moment. So you find that there is no any that discipline that you don't have to communicate when I'm speaking to you, when I need you, and things like that. But then the new generation, they just do like this and they're communicated. So I think that's the new generation will also help us because it is their world, and I think that's they will be the one who will shape now that particular issue. For us is to build a platform or to give them a go to start using this kind of means in order to because Kenya is the first for us. Kenya is the first country where we came, and it's from here that all missionaries who went to open other continents left. So it means that there is an atmosphere of mission and experience, and people who are now able to go from Kenya to go to other nations to become missionaries. So this one still for us gives us a way that Kenya and now is a country which has more missionaries for us, and it is still the stronghold, and that's why we are to be even always present to make sure that they also get good formation, because we have many. We have all the stages of formation, and and even now we have even we have been giving even education in this country throughout all the schools and things like that. I think it's this year we are also contemplating to have a university so that we complete the whole education system. Yeah, I think it is the right time, and I think that after this canonization, I think that is the step that we have to, we go by specializing now and give people really what they really need. And I think that the mass communication or the media should be part of this new endeavor that we are taking. It should be new endeavor in this one of the university, but with a Catholic eye, with a Catholic way of looking at things, with our missions.
Well, we'd like to thank you most sincerely, Father James, for your time. It is not a common thing for us to have a general superior of any congregation. We have never had. You are the first time, and we really thank you. On behalf of Capuchin TV, we congratulate you and wish you God's blessings in that seat, very holy seat of Blessed and soon Saint Joseph Alamano. We hope to be with you in your celebrations online, and when you come back here in Kenya, we thank you so much. Tumekuwa tukiongea naye mkuu wa shirika la Consolata ulimwenguni, Padre James Bhola Lengarin, historia yake ndefu na ushuhuda wake na kazi ambayo shirika la Consolata limefanya pamoja naye. Tunamshukuru sana, na wewe mtazamaji, tunashukuru wengi ambao wanaendelea kutuenzi na kushukuru wale waliowezesha kipindi hiki. Padre, ujumbe wako wa mwisho kwa Consolata utawaambiaje duniani mzima, pengine katika kuandaa mambo haya na katika kazi ambao wamekuwa wakifanya miaka yote hii kabla ya huyu mwanzilishi wenu kuwa mtakatifu, sasa atakuwa mtakatifu, kwa Consolata wote duniani?
Basi kwa Consolata wote duniani, na naambieni tu kwamba sasa Mungu ametubariki. Baba wetu atakuwa mtakatifu, na kuwa mtakatifu ina maana kwamba kanisa limeona kwamba yeye anatuletea uzima katika mambo ya kiroho na mambo hata ya kidunia ya leo, kwa sababu yeye mwenyewe alikuwa anasema kwamba sisi tukiwa wanadamu, kile kitu ni muhimu ni kwamba lazima tufanye mambo ya kawaida, lakini kwa kupitia njia isiyo ya kawaida. Kwa hivyo in an extraordinary way, and to do things well and without noise, because sometimes now we are making noise. Kwa hivyo yeye nafikiri atatupatia ule njia ya kuishi neno la Bwana katika maisha yetu ya kila siku. Kwa hivyo tuwaweke haya katika maisha yetu, ili sisi tuweze kuwa watu ambao wana ushuhuda, sio tu watu ambao wanapiga kelele, ambao watu wanaongea tu, bali ni watu ambao wanaweza kufanya dunia yetu ibadilike, na ibadilike kwa wema, sio kwa ubaya. Kwa hivyo sisi wenyewe kama wahubiri wa neno la Bwana, ni sisi wenyewe ndio kwanza lazima tuumie kama Yesu Kristo, ili tuweze kuwapa wenzetu njia ya kuweza kufikia kwa Mungu. Kwa hivyo that's my wish to everyone, and telling you always, as I said always, let us be with the marginalized, let us work with them, let us stay with them, let us know their ways, and let us make them to make a change. A leap of life, a leap of faith makes us always to be united and to be people that the Lord Jesus Christ is wanting us to be. Holy and always together. Thank you.
Na tunakushukuru wewe mtazamaji kila wakati kwa kutuenzi. Kwa niaba ya waliofanikisha kipindi hiki, Mungu aendelee kukubariki na kukulinda. Endelea kutazama runinga ya Capuchin. Tunaposhukuru Mwenyezi Mungu kwa miaka 7 ya uinjilishaji. Mimi ni ndugu Francisco Mkapuchini, Peter Waweru.